think I was reading the Iliad in 6th grade. I mean, I was voracious about books, and Agatha Christie. And in 6th grade, I wrote to Agatha Christie after reading the first book of hers I'd ever had, which was The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Sent the letter to her in England, and did not get a response. My letter was, Dear Mrs. Christie, I enjoyed The Murder of Roger Ackroyd so much. I felt like I was there. I felt like I was in England. I could feel the flames from the fireplace where his dead body was laying. It was absolutely astounding. It just moved me to no end. Have you written any other books? Well, she did. And I did not get an answer. But
the following podcast is about the life and times of Doug Felch. Doug lives in wonderful St. Louis, Missouri, and has traveled about during his career. Who is Doug? And what can we learn from him? From rags to riches? Well, as Doug says, enriched human, not wealthy, but wealthy and not in the monetary sense. So you could say rags to rags, but wealthy in mind and spirit. Puppeteer by day and, well, by night. How did it all come to be? Here is Doug in our first episode in...
But that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Doug's life. Memorable childhood moments.
My friend Lynn, her son and daughter-in-law, gave me this thing. It's called Storytime or something. And every 2 weeks, they send a question. And the last one, what were your favorite toys? And as a child, I loved what we called them little men. Cowboys on horses and stuff. And then Uncle John and Aunt Ev gave me a beautiful, a covered wagon and, really neat stuff. And there was a vacant lot a door over. Then our neighbors bought it, and then eventually they had it all grass, but it was still kind of rough. But we would dig in mounds of dirt and do little caves and stuff. And we had just hours of great fun.
Our playful toys are some of our most memorable moments during childhood. For Doug, little did he know that one of his favorite toys would inspire his road to success.
The first puppet I really remember was, and I think she was called Bonnie Braids, and she was from the Dick Tracy series. B.O. Plenty and Gravel Gertie had to adopt because they were the two of the ugliest people in the world, and they had another child too, but Bonnie Braids was the baby, and with little blonde things with little things, and the puppet was on a blanket, and then the puppet laid on the blanket, and then your hand would go underneath, and then you could work her feet, her head, and her hands. And I just loved that puppet so much. And little did I think it would be the portent of my life. Our public school was quite, I think, innovative in using Montessori back in the whatever. Because I still remember leading the group, the children around the room, doing the little engine that could. And I think I've always kind of been that way, that not that it's so touchy-feely, but the interaction, just sitting and absorbing material. Okay, I need to be more physical.
Kids also love to be creative. Some of my best artwork is from my childhood. Here were Doug's memorable creative moments.
In 6th grade, I rewrote Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs for 28 kids, and I wrote in the part, I made the king live. He died Well, I played the role, and then he died. But you find 28 characters in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I think I even had 8 dwarfs. I don't know. That was the ending of my playwriting career until Kramer's Marionettes and then helping with the scripts. My 6th grade teacher was Oscar Larson and Mrs. Hilgert. Oh God, Hilgert, because she was a tough one. And possibly her class academically was better, so to speak. But ours was the artistic one. And I'll never forget, in 6th grade, old Mr. Larson showed up dressed as Carmen Miranda. And I don't know if that'd go over so big today, but well, maybe it would. Eventually he got married and he wound up being principal of the school a couple of towns over. But just such a wonderful person.
Carmen Miranda was a Portuguese-born Brazilian singer, dancer, and actress nicknamed the Brazilian Bombshell. Her signature look was a fruit hat outfit worn in the early 1930s American films. Although teachers and classroom performance were only a few inspirations, Doug was a theater person by heart in the early years.
In those days, first-run movies only played in Chicago. They were not released all over. And we'd always go into Chicago to see Peter Pan. And speaking, I told you I watched Cinderella the other night. We went to see Cinderella. I guess I was 6 years old, or because I don't know what year that came out. And we're walking out of the lobby of the Oriental Theater, and my mom said, "How did you like the movie?" And it was one of those weird things where, like, it was 20 past the hour or something. With all these, it became very quiet. And I said, "I like the movie, but nobody went to the bathroom." Okay, thanks for that insight, Douglas. Keep walking. Then I was in a community theater of the Lombard Park Players. Sounded like a sports team, and put on some crazy fun shows there over the years. I was in the first production our high school put on. It was a new school started. We started the new school as sophomores. We went to the old school in Glen Ellen, Glenbard East, and then we went with Glenbard West. Then our school was built in Lombard and became Glenbard East. And the first production was The Happy Journey by Thornton Wilder. And I played the father. But to this day, I'm glad I didn't play Horace Vandergelder. I think it would have done me in. The thought of having to learn all those lines back then. And we did Aladdin, which was so funny, which we eventually did as puppets. I had a huge role. I carried the litter filled with jewels and stuff, and had all my mother's silver had a starring role in this show. Another play where the king and queen and somebody else had been bewitched. The king was turned into a tree, the queen was a bush, and the other person was a stone. And we appeared at the end of the show when we came out. And then senior year we did The Matchmaker, and almost weren't able to do it because Hello Dolly was starting at that time. But they figured, well, this high school in Lombard, Illinois isn't going to knock the box office out doing The Matchmaker. And I had a small part in it. They started this horrible system in our high school of delegating points for being on the newspaper, president of this and whatever. And I could only get, I could not get a big role in The Matchmaker, but I was in it, and it was a fun production. I was assistant editor of the school newspaper, which was a lot of points. I was always interested in theater, and of course I was president of the drama club. We went to, our senior trip from high school was going to Washington and New York. And it was fantastic. And I was on crutches because I tore the cartilage in my knee. And then we got there, and the first night at the Sheraton Hotel in Washington, D.C., we went to the pool, went swimming, and the cartilage came out of the joint, and I never used the crutches and actually walked down the Washington Monument. And then when I got home, the doctor, after the surgery, said, "Boy, your knee was in a lot worse shape than I thought it would be." And I'm like, gee, I don't know why. And so then we get do all of Washington. Then we get to New York, and it was the Park Sheraton in Washington and the Sheraton Park in New York.
Doug's theater life brought him closer to so many, and he loved all. And some of his fellow theater cronies were most memorable.
Barb McComb, I still hate her. I won the presidency over her, and I don't think she never forgave me. And so, first breakfast in New York, she stands up and says, "Oh, by the way, last October, we sent for tickets to Camelot, and we have them, and we're going to see Camelot tonight." Like, in October, you could not have mentioned that to anybody else? So go down to the theater with 3 friends. Go to the box office. "Do you have any tickets for Camelot tonight?" He said, "No, I'm sorry, it's sold out. There's not even standing room." And I don't know if it was my acting career or what, but I must have given him a face that melted his heart. But not really. But then I just stood there like in shock, thinking that Barb McComb won. Shit. The phone rang in the box office. "Hello? Box office." And I'm turning to walk away. And I go, wait a minute. I just had 4 cancellations for tonight. Get the tickets, walk in, 8 rows slanted, and then the next row is 2 feet higher with a railing in front of us. And it was like the whole center, like the whole show was being done for us. And then I looked back in the orchestra. Where's Barb? Mezzanine. Look, no Barb. First balcony. No Barb. Oh, up in the nosebleed section, huh? Way up there. And then in college, I was in the big variety show that was really fun. Our big opening number was Preacher's Kids, because Elmhurst College used to be I think Methodist, like seminary. And like Niebuhr Hall, all the buildings are named after these famous theologians. I was just in the big homecoming show that they put on every year. Got involved in the Wheeling Community Theater. Oh, and then in the Edge Discovery Workshop, that was great fun. I kept getting, in Edward Albee's The American Dream, believe it or not, I played the title role. And as I told Mary Martin, I was much taller, thinner, and younger then. Apparently so. But that was very interesting. But then I kept getting cast as ministers. Halfway up the tree, and there I played another minister. And then the young man who was directing us, Gary Rao, was in the seminary out there, Bethany Seminary, I think it was called, and to see the reason a lot of young men were in that seminary was not because they wanted to be ministers, it was the Vietnam War. And then my big piece de resistance was Candida by Bernard Shaw, Reverend James Mavor Morrell, moralist and windbag. There were two of us as Morrell and three Candidas. And it was really interesting playing opposite different women characters. But, and I probably told this, but that was an out-of-body experience doing that show. I really felt I was watching myself perform, and and I've never heard other actors say anything like that, and whether they think it's spooky or weird to say that, but it was just and if it's sort of transcendental, I don't know, but it was just wild. And I drew a lot when I was younger too, which was amazing. And of course, I'll tell that story. When my mother was going to sell the house, I went up to help clear out things and sort and stuff. And I go to her beautiful secretary desk, which was why I did not bring that. Of course, it'd be gone. But open the drawers, which was all my stuff from grade school, papers and drawings and stuff. And I go to it and open up the top drawer. It's empty. The next drawer, and I said, "Mom, what did you do with all this stuff in here?" So I just threw that all away. Mother, you're killing me. But all that stuff again. But my stuff from college and stuff, of course, that I moved down here, it's all gone. But it's like, so what? It's just stuff. And it's like I say, as long as you have the memories, that's our greatest gift. Love and memories are the things that I hope would keep us all going. If we could only just all love each other.
Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for another
But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Doug's Life. This has been a Southside 2-Bit Studio production.